Hello YouTube. Field stripping and cleaning the Ruger 1022. For those of you that don't know what the difference between field stripping and cleaning, there is a difference. Field stripping is done very quickly in the field. Cleaning is something you do at your house. So, some of the tools that you're going to need. A flathead screwdriver, a little punch, a 4mm Allen wrench, pliers. You may or may not need these. Cleaning tools will be your favorite cleaner. Mine is Ballistol because it's skin safe, carcinogen free. A brush, cleaning brush, a little pick for getting carbon out of hard to reach areas, cleaning patches, and your bore rod. Let's get to it. The Ruger 1022 is a very simplistic design. It reminds me a lot of the AK-47, and that's a beautiful thing to me because it lends itself to reliability. And for those of you, most of you know that the AK-47 is a very reliable platform, and the Ruger 1022 is as well. So the first thing you'll need is your flathead screwdriver, and you're going to want to go, hopefully you guys can see this, right here to your barrel band. Loosen your barrel band up, and it should slide right off the top like that. Then you'll want to go right here next to your magazine well, and you'll see a flathead screwdriver or screw there. Loosen it up, lay it down here so hopefully you guys can see. Forgive me, my cameraman is at school today. It's my son, and he usually films for me, or has been as of late. Now, when you get that out, you should be able to grab it with your hand and loosen it up quicker with your finger. Always, I should have did this earlier. I want you guys to know that I safety check the weapons, but for those of you new to firearms, before you ever get started, always safety check the weapon. Okay, next, when you get this out, take your safety. Your safety can't be to one side like this or to the other like that. It needs to be centered right in the middle, or else it would get hung up on your stock. When you get it centered, the stock should slide right off the receiver in the barrel. Now, something I just discovered before I started filming is my pin right here is broken into two pieces. This large pin, if you guys can see it, there's a large pinhole right there. That holds your bolt inside the weapon. I'm going to have to get a new one after today. But for now, that's broken, so disregard that. Here's one of the pieces for it that I found earlier. It's twice as long as that, so it's broken right in half in the middle. But you'll see these other two pins right here. There's three pins that you have to remove from the Ruger 1022. This large one here, and then these two smaller ones here. These two smaller ones are what holds your trigger group in the weapon. And while I was talking, I don't know if you guys saw that, but one of them fell out. I heard it hit the floor. Okay? If yours fall out, some Ruger 1022s, they fall right out. Some of them, you need to use this punch. Sometimes you can just push with your hand on the punch. It'll come right out. And it's being kind of difficult. Nope, here it comes. I got it. So, the two pins that hold your trigger group to your receiver, once again, they go right here. Now your trigger group should come out of the weapon. Set it aside. I like to blow it out with compressed air. not too high pressure air. You don't want to do any damage to anything in there. But as you can see, I've got a pin, that bolt pin, the large one right here, floating around my receiver because it's broken into two pieces. Don't ask me how that happened, but probably when I was using the high rate of fire on some stingers, some high powered stuff, could have stressed it a little too much. But anyway, there's the pin that goes in this large hole here. You've got to remove it in order for your bolt to come out. When you get it removed, compress the bolt with your thumb, and then reach in with your other thumb and pull the front of the bolt up. When you pull it up, your recoil spring should slide away from the bolt, like that there. When that happens, you can turn the receiver upside down, turn it over like that, and out comes the bolt. Okay. After that, I want you guys to see there's a little shelf, a little ledge right there where your recoil spring resides. That's very important for when you put it back together, to know where this spring sits down on that little ledge at the end of the receiver. So now you can take the recoil spring and just pull it to the side like that and out. That's the extent of field stripping. That's what you would do in the field. What I do when I get home to clean the weapon is I remove the barrel as well. You may have to remove the barrel in the field if you had an obstruction in it, but most likely you won't have to do that. If you want to remove the barrel, there's two. This is where your 4mm Allen goes right there. You loosen those up, and then the barrel will slide away from the receiver, and you can proceed to clean the barrel with your bore rod. But in order to save time, we're not going to do any cleaning. At this point, what I would do is I would take my cleaner and I would soak the receiver, I would soak the barrel, the bore of the barrel, I would soak the bolt and the recoil spring. And after they soaked for 5 minutes, I'd take the brush, clean everything really well. Oh, and by the way, in order to save time on this video as well, we're not going to remove the extractor and the firing pin. And most of the time, you don't need to remove. I remove the extractor and the firing pin like once every 4 cleanings. So we'll get to that in another video on how to remove the extractor and the firing pin. But for now, just soak them down. Give them a good scrubbing with your brush. Scrub the receiver, the inside of the receiver with your brush. Scrub your bore with your bore rod. Clean off your recoil spring and start putting everything back together. Your recoil spring will go back in the weapon like that. And once again, this tip of it has to go down to that little shelf at the bottom. Compress the recoil spring all the way compressed like that. Take your bolt. This notch right here goes on your lever here. That bolt, that notch will go down, and it should drop right into place like that. When it drops, you'll feel it knock. You could hear it just there. You'll feel it go into place. If you can do that, you know your bolt is in there good. Okay, now take your trigger group. This right here will sit down inside that notch like that. Take it, turn it upside down. Now take your trigger group pins and go ahead and stick them through the receiver on the front. If it doesn't go all the way in, I'll take my something plastic so you don't booger up your gun. Usually my screwdriver, and I'll just give it a couple taps. That gets it in there, seated nice and flush like that. Then take the rear pin, put it in, and it went in there nice and smoothly. Now your trigger group's in there, solid. Okay, for video sake, I'm going to take these two halves for my bolt pin, the rear of the receiver pin, and I'm going to stick one in one side and one in the other. This is just for the video so you guys can see. That would obviously not be two pieces, it would be one piece that slides all the way in this large hole right there. As soon as you get that done, put your safety back in the middle position like I showed you earlier, and take your stock and drop it down. Come on now. Okay, there we go. Stock's in. Reach up there and finger tighten that screw right there. Get it as far as you can. Take your screwdriver. Tighten it up the rest of the way. When you feel it get tight, give it a little, I don't know, eighth turn. No sense in getting it too tight and damaging anything. Take your barrel band, slide it back over the top. Same deal there. Uh-oh. No sense in getting anything too tight. Just nice and snug. Okay, there you go. As you can see, everything's working. Once again, I'll have to remove that pin and replace it, but field stripping and cleaning the Ruger 1022. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful, and please remember to like and subscribe, and have a nice day.